Hello, this is a short video on how to use the material requisition sheet of Contract Controller. So from the contract screen, if I call up a contract and we look at the bill items that have been added from estimating and subsequent variations to orders, if I look at a particular bill item, I can view the details from there. I can then perform a material analysis from the quoted materials. And I can also see what costs have been booked to the item at the moment, and obviously no costs have been booked at this point. So to create a material requisition sheet for that from my setting out or processing sheets, I go to Requisition Sheet, and that will show all the sheets that are in existence for all the various items for this contract, and it'll show their status, whether we've passed it to stores or whether stores have passed it to purchasing or it's been processed, i.e. completed. Stores have indicated and picked the items that are from stock, and purchasing have placed purchase orders for the required items. So to create a new requisition sheet, simply click New Requisition Sheet. We then put the bill item that it refers to, so we're going to do for 104-7, and obviously it puts the details in, and then we need to give it a sheet header. So this could be for a particular area of the bill item. It might be the carcass that you're doing, or the drawer set, or it might be the total unit. So you'll just say that this is the main items. The requirement date, so when do we want these materials ready for? So I'm going to say I want them for the 27th. And now I need to say what materials I require. So I'm going to say for sheet materials, I want some MDF. So if I wanted some 18mm MDF, I could just type in MDF, hit the tab key, and the system would load all the MDFs that are in the material library. And then I can pick the relevant one that I want for that. I've got an area where I can make notes for that. So it might be that it's for a specific area for the item. So we could say special notes here, and then I need to say how many of these items, these sheets I want. So I want 2, add to requisition sheet. Now at this point, if I think, no, actually I wanted 3, simply just click on that and change that quantity to 3. If I wanted a plywood, same principle applies. So type in the word ply, hit the tab key, find the required material we want, use selected item, how many do I want, add to requisition sheet. If I want some material that I know is not in the library or I can't find in the library, I can still enter that in. So it might be that I want a special laminate contract. Obviously you give it a little bit more detail than that. Hit the tab key, it can't find it in the library. Notes, we could say as per drawing. How many do I want? I want 5, add to requisition sheet. Now if I want to add ironmongery, I can just change the material type to ironmongery. If I want to say a door closer, I can just type in door, find the relevant door closer that I want. How many do I want? I want 1. I want some drawer runners, I can just type in the word drawer. Pick the item that I want. If we know the item code, we could just type the item code in there as well, rather than using the description or part of the code. If I just remove that and then say no suitable item, and I just type in part of that code, hit the tab key, you can then see it pulls up the item and I can then use that item. So let's have 5 of those. This area to the right is a facility where you could drag in a sheet that you've already done, say as a template, or you think, well, this item's pretty much similar to something else. And you can find a sheet either by the reference numbers or by the job number. So if we look at all the other sheets that we've done for contract 104, we can see that they're listed there. You could view the particular sheet to see if it's the one you wanted, or then you could call that and then just use a selected sheet and it would put the items in there for you, but we're not going to do that. So just click Save Only to call that back, double click on it and we get the sheet back. So clicking Save Only takes us back to the sheet. You can see that it's not processed. To call it back, simply double click on it. Once we've got all the items in there, we can then issue this sheet to store, so it'll appear on the list for them to indicate which of these items they can fulfill from the stores, and then they subsequently submit it to purchasing, who then order the items that that aren't coming from stores. So if we issue sheet to stores, checks that it's okay to do that. You then have the option to print a copy of the sheet for your own records, and the sheet is issued from production with the items, and obviously there's no indication yet of whether the item is going to be fulfilled from stock or a purchase order. Then that sheet disappears and it then says it's passed to stores. So if I double click on it, I can't change it. Now, if I've issued it and I think, I've missed something off and stores actually haven't done anything with it yet, I can call it back, simply double click on it and obtain a recall code. You'll have to put the passcode in, the boss passcode, to get to that stage. It will then give you a unique recall code that you can then copy. You then go back to your list and then say recall an issued sheet. Paste in that recall code. Again, you'll be asked for the passcode to do it. It's meant to be rather laborious to do it so that you're not easily recalling the sheets, because the chances are it has gone to stores and they may well have started picking it. But we can recall it back and then we can make the changes that we want. Once we've done all that, or if we want to remove an item from the sheet, just highlight it, say remove selected line. It will confirm that you want to do that. Click OK. I'm not going to in this case. So we now issue that sheet to stores, click OK, print the copy, and now I leave the contract sheets. So if I click Finish, come out of that. Now if I go to the stores area of the system, we go to Departments and then Stock Control, we can go to Requisition Sheets from Setting Out and Processing. This sheet will now appear on stores list for them to indicate what can be fulfilled from stock. So they double click on that sheet. They can't change any of these items here, and they can then print a check sheet that they can then physically go around the stores or the timber sheds to see what items they can fulfill from stores and make various notes on there. They then come back to this screen and then they can indicate what is going to be fulfilled from stock. So it might be, yes, we can fulfill the MDF. Obviously the special laminate we can't, that's for ordering. We haven't got the plywood. The door closers, yes, we've got that. Now the drawer runners, it might be that we can only part fulfill it. We've only got 3 in stock. So what I can do is I can change that to say that we want 3 from stock, and I need a further 2 that's going to be purchased. So this is where I can then make an entry in here to say that we want these drawer runners. So exactly the same item. So we could just say, if you want to reiterate, it needs ordering, and then we want a further 2 of that. So we're saying that of that 5, 3 we've got from stock, 2 is going to be from the purchase order. So once we've indicated all of that, we can then process this sheet and it will then get passed through to purchasing. So if we print the copy, I'm just going to print this off onto the printer here, because you can see it will have a barcode, and the stores will now probably go and pick these items that they've indicated that they are in stock. So that A, it gets put to job costing, and B, they're not likely to be picked for any other contract. So that sheet's now disappeared from stock. And then at this point, it might be that stores indicate that these items are from stock and go and pick them. So if I go to production stock control and say materials issued from stores, I'll just get that printout. So we then get a printout from stores that we can then go and pick the items. So we can either type the contract number in, or we can use the barcode scanning system, where I scan the contract that we're using, and it also knows the bill item, and then I scan the item that we're taking from stock, and in that goes quantity 1. I can then issue that to contract. I'm not going to print out the requirement sheet. So obviously they do that for all the items on the stock requirement sheet from there. So that's taking care of the stock from stores. Now, if we go to the purchase order area, we've then got an area that says process requisition sheets. So that will now list all the sheets that have been passed from stores to purchasing. So if we take this 104-7 item, we double click on it, purchasing can see the items that have already been picked from the store, so he knows which items have got to be ordered. So we can create a new purchase order. And this is pretty much the same as a standard purchase order. Who are we going to order it from? So we're going to order it, say, from Arnold Laver. We'll pick Chris as the contact, deliver to HQ. Now you'll see that date required has already been entered for me, and that's taken that from the requisition sheet from when the processor or setter out said this is when they wanted the materials for. I can then either change that if I wanted to, or I could then add my chase date to that. So we'll say we want it on the, whoops, sorry, if we enter the date that we want. Order reference, classification, it's from the factory, import the standard terms. And then add the items for order. Now you can see it's automatically taken that it's going to be for contract 104 from the requisition sheet. And it's also showing me the items on that sheet that I need to order. So if I get a new line, so I have a slight keyboard issue there, sorry. So if I just remove these blank lines. So we get the item, the contract 104, and then the bill item that we want. So it's 104-7. Just reiterates I've got the right item, and then the item that I want. So I want some birch ply. So again, so if I put ply before by 18, how many do I want? I want 1 sheet. And it's suggested that we're getting it for £20. It might be that we've done a deal and we're getting it for £19 a sheet from there. And the special laminate for the contract, okay, so 104-7, and this might be a laminate reference XYZ. Obviously you type in a proper description for that. We're not going to add it to the library. We want 5 sheets of that. And it might be rather expensive, say at £65 a sheet. And that just leaves a drawer in us, which we're not going to order from Arnold Laver. We'll order them from the relevant ironmongers. So we then issue this purchase order. Okay, reminds me I need to add a job cost code to that item that wasn't in the library. So we just click on that and say it's a sheet material. Then we can either print the purchase order, form a PDF, or form a PDF and email. I'm not going to worry about printing that out for now. So we click finished. We don't want a production copy. Now you can see there it's dropped the purchase order in that list. Now, if I just click on that, it's put the purchase number order onto the pasteboard, and then I can just indicate against which item those items are for. So I can paste it against that item and the special laminate. Now, if I try and paste it against an item that's already for stock, you'll see that the system tells me this item it has already or will be taken from stock, so I can't place a purchase order for it from there. So it won't let me do a purchase order against items that are from stock. So now that just leaves me one item that needs ordering. If I try and process this sheet without everything being complete, the system will A, say, is it okay to do that? And B, it will then say, sorry, you haven't done it completely yet, you can't complete it. But it will still stay on my list for me to double click and then carry on at a later date. So we need to order some more draw runners from there. So create a new purchase order. So let's say we're going to order these from Hafley. And we take chase date, classification. And you'll see now that all the items that have already been indicated orders are removed from the list, so it's only showing me the items I've still got to order. So 104-7, and then the item is a, so if I spell it right, item, and I want 2 of those. Keyboard comes back to life. And then we issue the order. It's decided that it's all right, I need to put a cost to it, minor detail. So we'll say that we're going to get them for £3.25, issue that order. Again, you print the purchase order, form a PDF or email it. I won't bother with a production copy. So now I can see the purchase orders that I've got there. So the Hafley, I'm going to pop that against there. Paste that in. So I've now got the purchase orders against each item. I can then process this sheet. Is it okay? Preview on screen. So we can now see that it's issued from purchasing, and the items that were from stock and the items that have got a purchase order against them. Then it returns back to the screen, click finished. So if we go back to the contract screen where this was originated from, and then we look at our requisition sheets, you can see now that that sheet there has now been classed as processed. So if I double click on it, we can then see the items have been ordered on these purchase orders or they're from stock. If I now were to look at the item, sorry, I didn't mean to come right out of that. If we look at the bill item for 107 and look at costs booked to the item, we can now see that the item that issued from stores has been indicated, and also the items that have been placed on a purchase order, and so it's beginning to bring up the actual cost against the estimated cost. And that's the basic flow through of entering a requisition sheet in Contract Controller. So thanks very much for watching. As ever, if you'd like any more information or need any help with using the system, please give the office a call on 0151 641 6553. Okay, bye for now.